Hi there, it's Stuart Fensterheim, the Couples Expert, and bringing you another episode of the Couples Expert Podcast. This is episode 99. I am so thrilled that it's 99. It's Random Act of Kindness Week. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I'm so honored that you join me each week to listen to me and my guests discuss love and relationships. I really want to hear from all of you. So if you leave me a review in iTunes for this podcast episode 99, I'd really appreciate it. I always want to continue improving my show. And if you give me that feedback, I can make adjustments, and I do every single week. When I hear from all of you and you tell me whether you liked an episode or thought that this episode was not as good as the others, I really look at that and really make some changes, both in the style that I record as well as the content. I read every single one of those reviews, suggestions, and comments. If you want to suggest a future topic also for the show, please feel free to do that too. I know that podcasting is really a trend right now, and there are so many podcasts out there. And the fact that you've chosen to listen to mine really is a big deal to me. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy today's show. What is so incredibly satisfying to me and heartwarming is that I am so honored to be the conduit, the means by which you out there, you people in my community, who are really striving to discover a deep love and connection with each other, have brought me into it. I wanted to share a little bit about my Valentine's Day, because my Valentine's Day this year was not very fun. It wasn't very romantic. My wife and I have decided that we're going to celebrate it on a different day, because I don't know if you guys saw my post on my Facebook page, the Couples Expert Facebook page. You can see it there, about what my Valentine's Day was like. I had to do a prep for a colonoscopy. That's right. I, the Couples Expert, had no choice but to do a colonoscopy on Wednesday the 15th, which meant my prep would be Valentine's Day evening. That is awful. And if you've ever had a colonoscopy, I'm sure you feel for me, because although I have to say, this is a second colonoscopy for me, because they found a polyp a few years ago, and so they make me do them every 5 to 10 years. And because of that, I had to drink a gallon of this awful stuff. There's no way around it. There's no good way of putting it. There's no way of presenting it with a pretty rose on top. It's awful. And even the people and the experts in the community will tell you this is awful. It is to clean you out. And boy, does it. Anyway, this Valentine's Day, that's what I had to do. So you'll see a little bit about that on my Facebook page. This week's podcast, Random Act of Kindness Week. Now, what kind of random acts of kindness can you do for your partner? You already know that your partner does things for you. And if you don't, you need to pay more attention. And hopefully, you do some things for them. I'm not talking about the regular things like cooking or mowing the lawn or repairing things around the house. That's all part of keeping a home running. And it's sort of understood that there likely is some sort of division of labor between the two of you as you live together. Random Act of Kindness Week is about you doing something from your heart for the one you love, something unexpected, something random that is really going to touch them, impress them, and show them how special you are to them. You've hopefully just come off having this special Valentine's Day. So this week following Valentine's Day, being Random Act of Kindness Week, is wonderful, particularly from my perspective as a couples counselor. So now in this week, there's a chance for you to really keep those good things going. There's a quote I really like, which is from Confucius, and it says, "Act from kindness, but don't expect gratitude." When we're doing a kindness for someone that we care about, no matter how large or small, we need to do it from our hearts, from a place of love without any expectation. We see that our partner has a need and we fill it. We do something small just to see them smile. Of course, they're grateful, but that can't be the motivation behind it. We simply need to want to do something nice. When our intention is pure like that, the act has so much more impact. Not for the thanks, but to just show them how special they are to us. Doing something kind for someone else is about you more than it's about them. It should be your desire to do something from your heart that matters. That's what's really fulfilling to your partner. They recognize that you didn't have to do it, but you did it because you care and you did it because you love them. That's what the fulfilling part is. It doesn't matter how the person receives the kindness. It's never wasted when it comes from a place of love. You know, kindness is truly underrated. You should always strive to be kind, especially with your partner and your family. For those that you love, they should see kindness in you above everything else. One of the things that my wife told me is that she thinks that I am a very kind person. At first, that was not a good thing. I wanted her to think of me as sexy, or I wanted her to think of me as just really moving her world. But as I thought about it, kindness is long-lasting. Kindness will take you to forever. And if you have a kind relationship, nothing is more important. Because kindness is a trait that we all need to cultivate and show the really vulnerable parts of our hearts to our loved ones. You know, before we continue much, I really want to say how thrilled I am about something. I mentioned a moment ago, this is episode 99. Next episode is episode 100. I really can't believe it's going to be 100th episode. I would have been thrilled to just do 10 when I first started out. OMG, who would have thought that we'd be doing our 100th? Our 100th episode is a huge milestone for me, and I plan to do some special things, so I want you to all check it out, please. But it wouldn't have been possible, and I'll say this again next week, without my dedicated staff, and more importantly, from all of you. I hope you'll join me for this landmark 100th show. All right, let's get back to today's episode. This week, which is Random Act of Kindness Week. You know, our world gets really busy. Everybody's rushing and pushing and struggling, and we can lose sight of what's really important. With this week of Random Acts of Kindness, it really is a time to slow down, a time to make your life and your partner's life better for them. Some people might buy a meal or a coffee for a person behind them in line. You know, my wife Debbie told me that she was at Starbucks and there was a gentleman, he must have been probably 70. And what he did is he bought a cup of coffee for everyone in line in front of him. Think about that. What does that do for your day when someone does that? Does it just make it feel like your world's in a good place? That people care enough to just out of the blue do things like that? Well, I can tell you it made her day. Others buy groceries or a meal for someone that they know's hungry. It's not about the money. I want to make sure that you guys really understand that. It's not the money. It's about someone taking the time and doing something thoughtful, like visiting a nursing home or a hospital. Talk to someone who you know that's lonely. The guy who's at the freeway entrance that is begging, say hi. Don't just ignore him. You don't have to give money if it goes against your grain, but give him a smile and say, hope you're having a good day. Call your mom or dad if you haven't talked to them in a while. All of these kinds of kindnesses that you can do for others. Here in Phoenix, there's really a cool thing that one of the TV stations does, and I think they call it Pay It Forward. What they do is they have nominations for someone in the community that has done something beyond the call of duty. If someone has, let's say, been an incredible teacher or volunteered or helped the students in the classroom, or was someone that really had a big smile on their face every time the community that interacted with him saw him, or they really invested even when they couldn't afford it to help others. What the TV station does is it brings the cameras and everybody, and they hand him a check for about $5,000. I can't remember the amount. But think about what that is. It's about paying it forward. It's about letting people know that we notice them. We know your heart. And really, I urge all of you to not necessarily give someone any money, but to acknowledge it. Acknowledge how meaningful they have been for you. Actually, as I'm thinking about it, I know I said about $5,000. I think it's $500. But again, it's not the money. It's the concept that I want you to hear. So what I really want to focus on today is what you can do for your partner or your relationship. What kind of random acts of kindness can you show your partner? Let's think about it for a minute. I always talk about romancing and courting your partner, leaving texts and love notes for them in random places like pockets, purses, or in the car. Hopefully you're already doing that. If you haven't been, now's the time to start. But life is hard. What can you do for your partner that makes it easier? How can you show your partner that you're thinking of them? What little or big kindness can you do all week long that will make them stop, smile, and want to hug and kiss you right then and there? Now pay attention. If you listen to your partner as they talk about their day, really pay attention to the things that worry them or frustrate them, the little things that nag at them. You might find ideas for this week. If it's a hassle for them to get out the door because they have to get the kids' lunches ready in the morning, sneak into the kitchen and make the lunches the night before. Put fuel in your partner's car so he or she doesn't have to take the time to stop on the way to get to work. Do something that you've been putting off and do for your partner. If there's a chore that your partner hates, like taking out the trash, do it for him. If there's laundry that needs to be folded, fold and put it away. It's little things like this that make your partner really feel important. And stop and think and go, wow, what a lucky person I am. And that was so awesome that he does love me and wants my world to be a better place. She bought me coffee while I was shaving. She does love me. She wakes me up in the morning with a big kiss and lets me know that my life is really important to her and my happiness matters to her. Or she knows that I'm struggling with some relationship issues with work or my family, and they've planned a vacation. Or they've sent me something that just says how much she loves me. Those little things are not so little. It's someone in your life that cares. Simply doing something kind for your partner out of the blue can make their day better. I know when I get a love note or Tic Tacs in my car I get a really warm feeling because it reminds me that not only that my wife loves me, but that she's thinking about me when we're not together. That she thought enough to leave something for me just to make my day. It's easy. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It's not expensive, and it makes your partner just feel important and special to you. Grab a cup of coffee for your partner or send lunch to their work if you know they have a midday meeting and might not get to eat. If your partner's having a hard time, try to find a way to make it easier. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Sometimes the small things we do and the things that we think go unnoticed are the greatest kindnesses that we can give. If they're careless, suggesting ways to make their life easier and more organized. Call your partner and tell her that you've made dinner plans and she doesn't have to cook. Give them a day off from doing homework with the kids. If your partner works long hours and wishes he could go golfing, set up a tea time and surprise him with an afternoon to go golfing. I know if you put your mind to it, you'll know what will matter to your partner. And knowing your partner is the key, so pay attention. And you will come up with plenty of things that you can do to show your partner how special they are. Listening to your partner and really listening to the meaning behind their words gives a real message. But when you listen, when they talk with you, give them 100% undivided attention. Put down your phone, your newspaper, turn the TV off. Make sure you and your partner know that there's nothing more important than the two of you, and that the greatest gift you can give your partner is your attention and your time. That's what loving attention can do. There are so many ideas out there. Google them. Google random acts of kindness and see what comes up. I'm sure you're going to find millions of them out there. Sometimes simply a compliment when you haven't given one in a while, or a bit of encouragement when they're stressed about something, will make your partner feel so incredibly loved. Kindness really is transformative. If you get into the habit of doing it, it becomes easy. It actually changes your brain. When you see something negative or you see a person in trouble, instead of your first reaction being critical or allowing yourself to be triggered, your first impulse becomes a thought about how you can help, how you can be kind, and how you can diffuse a negative situation rather than escalate it. And we do that. We don't intentionally do that, but we all do that. Even this couples expert does it. So it's not immune if you're an expert on relationships. Everyone gets triggered. Everyone can get escalated. But what you do when it happens is the difference. And if your focus is on being kind, it transforms your relationship. When things come up, instead of blame or the negativity, you're more likely to think something kind, positive, or constructive and solve the problem, rather than you feed into it and you give it fuel. Random acts of kindness are the tokens that we all need in our relationships so that we can then, when we're triggered, remember who the two of you really are. Two people who care about one another and show each other kindness every single day. You'll give your partner the benefit of the doubt more often, and it will be an incredible change in what your children and family sees about your environment and your home. It will be much more harmonious home life. We don't realize how many negative things we say to people we love. When you get into the habit of being kind, you'll filter your thoughts, and your deeds become, and you look at them, and you look at your life through the lens of kindness. Try this. Try not to say anything negative to anyone or about anyone for 48 hours. See what this does for you. Let me know how that goes, because I think It seems like a short time. 2 days, what's the big deal? But I can guarantee you it will be a struggle for most of you. If you can't do 48, do 24. If you can't do 24, do 12. Just do it. Just do it, and you will be able to look yourself in the mirror in a totally different way. And here's the key. You'll also be kinder to yourself. We could be our own worst enemies and critics. When you're practicing kindness, you have to cut yourself slack too. One of the things I want to remind everyone before we finish today is that the Couples Expert has a YouTube channel. It's called the Couples Expert YouTube channel, pretty simplistically. Check it out on YouTube. I now have over 300 videos on creating a loving relationship. One last suggestion on this topic is, since we have an entire week dedicated to random acts of kindness, think about how fun it might be to get together with your partner and do some random acts of kindness for other people. It can be an incredibly fun way to serve in the community and strengthen the connection with your partner in doing things that make both of you just feel good. Helping others who are in need really has a way of binding a relationship and making the two of you feel like your life, your love can change the world. And the more you feel that, the more secure both of you will feel that your relationship is something that's going to take you through the years and through time till the end of your lifetime. And isn't that what we want? These things don't have to be expensive. You can walk the dogs at a local shelter, clean out your pantry and take some food to the food bank, clean out your closets and donate clothes to Goodwill or the Salvation Army, and put together some hygiene kits and socks and take them to homeless shelters. The ideas really are endless. You and your partner giving selflessly can be a wonderful expression of the love you feel for one another. In doing this, you begin to see each other as just so kind, and that you begin to feel so fortunate that someone this kind has chosen to be in your life, and that the two of you are in this together. So I want to thank you for joining me today, and just really talk and remind you to focus this week, but not just this week, every day of your life, practice being kind to others, to your partners, to your parents, and here's one that sometimes can be hard, to your children. You're going to retain that desire, and it will take you every week of your life down the path of feeling good about you. Thank you so much for joining me again. I'm glad I was able to bring this podcast, which I've been wanting to do something on this for a while, to all of you. Check us out next week for my 100th episode of The Couples Expert, and we'll see you all next time. And please stay connected. So long.